Good morning, Lafayette. I'm your meteorologist, Brian Burden, here with your forecast for the week. After a rough Monday where I had to get a grandson off to school because he missed the bus and a couple other things, we didn't get on the air yesterday, but we are back on the air today. We're trying to stay chipper and excited. We've had all kinds of things happen over the weekend, life-wise, and some of you know what's going on, some of you don't, but man, what a really pretty nice weekend considering, although it's been chilly, it's been cold, and we're wondering when the warmth's going to get back here to us. We're wondering when the rain today is going to stop, that kind of thing. That's what we're going to get into today. We're going to start talking about weather, and we're not going to talk about much else other than that over the next hour. We're going to look at all kinds of charts and maps. I'll try to lay it out all in front of you so you can see what we kind of look at times and what we go through. And we'll cover just about everything you can think of, at least for Lafayette and what you'll see locally around Lafayette. Let's just zip right over to some of the charts right now. What is the current temperature? Well, it's 57 degrees outside. You know, for an early morning in spring, that wouldn't be that bad at all, really, 57. Our normal high this time of the year is right around 69. So, you know, here we are pushing a 57 in the morning when we should be around 46, 47. We'd probably be about 50, 52, you know, early in the morning here at 9 o'clock, kind of starting to warm up in the springtime. So we're above normal there, but we're not going to get much warmer than that as the day goes on today, as we have a lot of rain in the forecast and in the picture. Not real downpour torrential rains. There's some spots in there, but it generally just a good steady rain most of the afternoon and into the evening, it looks like, and a bit this morning starting in another hour or two. So, because the morning's almost over. It's 9 o'clock already. Got to believe that. So, winds out of the west right now at 5 miles an hour, so not much hurting there. Visibility still is unrestricted. They are not reporting rain currently. That's the good news, and we'll show the radar here in just a little bit and some of the clouds and everything around that. But generally speaking, when you look at this from MSN with the 57, it also gives you kind of a 5-day outlook. And as you know, a lot of these temperatures I bump up in different places. Depends on what's going on in the atmosphere, but a lot of times, especially like the 75 on Saturday, maybe closer to 80, right? Sunday, we're probably closer to 70. Friday may even be in the upper 60s, while Thursday could be around 60. That's the way I look at it, right? The models tend to be a little lower on some of their numbers in the spring as they're starting to warm us up, and they start to do kind of the overkill on being still a little colder and dragging the warmer air in. So I like to warm up the atmosphere when we get through that time frame and what we look at. And so I'll start to bump some of these temperatures up here. It does show rain all day today, and pretty much that's what we're going to be looking at is definitely all the rain behind the system that went through the area last night. I don't think we got any severe weather for us. I didn't see anybody or hear anything that anybody had anything. Maybe if there was a thunderstorm or two, I was fast asleep. I don't know about you. It did more problems or had more problems a little bit farther to the north of us. So that's kind of how that worked out there. And what we're going to be seeing throughout the day today is some of that rain. It's on the back side of the cold front and the low pressure system that has moved through our area. Matter of fact, this is what the satellite looks right now. You take a look at Lafayette. Lafayette is right about there. And it looks like, oh my gosh, here comes this big, huge storm, right? If we only looked at just the colors and of the atmosphere, of the temperatures here, we would say, oh, look at all the high clouds and this is all rain coming in. Well, sometimes that's true, but sometimes it is not. So not that the entire area is full of rain, but there is plenty of rain there. That's in Illinois moving into Indiana right now. So you know what this means right here. First off, we're not going to see any sun today, right? Second off, there could be some rain under there. The cold front that passed through or is passing through, trying to pass through, has gone kind of east to west, out to the west of us, and then we drag it down. We could maybe drag it another low into the New Mexico, Arizona area, trying to build into Texas, I think is where you would see most of that. High and dry out on the west coast, a little bit of high cirrus clouds over Southern California, but not much to worry about there. It looks like they do have a little minor system trying to force in some clouds in Southern California. But other than that, The East Coast is high and dry, also waiting for some of this rain to get to them in the next day or two. Otherwise, it's this big system up to the north, kind of controlling all of the weather up there and creating the flow that we see right now. So let's take a little closer look into it. We'll come into the subsectors here, get into a little closer. You don't see much on this one because obviously we just have a bunch of clouds, or what it looks like a bunch of clouds, but there is rain under there and we can't see some texture, but we're starting to get enough that we can see some visible clouds now, right? Here we go. We're starting to pick that up. We're only going to get this for a few months during the summer because of the time frame we come on the air at 9 o'clock. We're just starting to pick up all the visibles earlier in the morning, and we can see some of the low clouds first, and then with some of the rain that passed off, we're on some of the lower clouds here. And then the visual shows the big batch of clouds again, which of course it hides everything below. It doesn't help us much, does it? But we can occasionally pick up a little bit more there. Today, not much. I see some turbulence. You can see these little waves of clouds right through here. Look at this. See this as waves, indications of turbulence at that level wherever those clouds are. And it will be a turbulent atmosphere all throughout Indiana and Illinois, it looks like today, with the system moving through. And I would imagine there'll be a pocket of turbulence down to the south of us too. And something in and around us if you were in aviation flying out today somewhere to go somewhere. All right, so where is the rain on this? Well, let's pack it in here. We can see it real good right now. And you can kind of see it moving towards us. Looks like Crawfordsville, it's already starting to rain. We got this big batch right here, and then it wants to kind of rotate over, and it wants to kind of keep a flow of precipitation anywhere from Lafayette back down to about St. Louis today, as the model shows that. Even though there's a gap in here, I'm hoping we're going to get into this gap and the second area does not catch up. And maybe some of the second area isn't even reaching the ground. It's way out in western Missouri, but something to keep an eye on for later in the period. And we'll see what the models do with this as we get a little farther in, all right? So plenty of rain up near Chicago. If you're driving out somewhere today, going south might be the best. You'll run through some rain, and then you'll be okay for a while. Going north, you're going to run into plenty of rain up towards Chicago. And going towards St. Louis, you're going to run into plenty too. So go to Ohio or Kentucky today if you happen to be driving out and leaving town. Sometime this morning anyway, right? If you leave this afternoon, you're going to have a little bit better chance to get into Chicago by this afternoon. But you still got to drive through rain through the state of Indiana itself. So that's where most of it is right now. So we got plenty of clouds. Let's see what we're seeing on some of the cameras around the area. First, I want to go over to West Lafayette, see how it is. Doesn't look too bad out there right now, right? Some of the rains from last night have gone already, and we're kind of in the dry spot, so we're looking pretty good, at least on that front. And then we go over to the airport. Hey, the airport's pointing straight down the ground. Doesn't help us much, does it? There we go. Now we can see a little bit more of the skies. And we can see the kind of stratification, the longing of the clouds, right? When you get a cumuliform type cloud, it's more of a puffy cloud, right? When you get a stratiform, they become longer and they cover more of the sky kind of in a general area, if you kind of think of it that way. But this is the River Road camera, and it looks like they finally got the vibration out of it, so we're getting some good pictures out there. And then over at the mall right now, high and dry. Must be some water in some spots here or there, but generally speaking, it looks like most of the road cover right now is dry. But let's head out to some places where it might already be raining. Let's go out to the Fowler camera. Fowler camera count today is one car in the picture. Road looks dry at the moment. You can see a little bit of water in the ditch, so they did get some overnight, and you can start to see some of the lower clouds starting to come in. These are still pretty high there, though, looks like it to my eye, and off in the distance you still can see some open spots here and there for that Fowler camera out there, right? So let's go down to the Covington one real quick. I know they pointed at the bridge, but it's still dry. The road's dry. Can't quite catch much out of the sky cover on that one. That's the one that we'd like to change, wouldn't we? All right, so let's go up to Rensselaer, see how they're doing on the road work up there. First off, let's go to the camera that's looking back towards, I think this is to the north now, right? Because the construction is just to the south, and somebody's moved the cameras around. Look at that. Are we going to get any of that? Let me go back and see if we can get the construction real quick. Is there anything? Nope, somebody's been moving the cameras around. So No go on that. So we're going to have to go back. Now, unfortunately, nothing there to be seen from that. So let's go down to the 231 junction. And is this the really nice camera that we were looking at? State Road 18 here, right? Looks high and dry, but we're starting to pick up more of the clouds that we can see running along in different spots. And we see bright enough spots that they're, yes, could the sun break out for a moment? I think it's a possibility. And we go back up to 231. And the Remington exit. There's that camera I wanted to see at the 231 junction. A really good, the high-def camera. And somebody did point it towards the sky a little more for me. Hey, isn't that nice? Maybe they're listening in on the show. So we'll have to see. But I can see some cumulus clouds on the horizon there. And then we can see a lot of that mid-deck. It's a mid-deck is what we're seeing here. Or a very high low deck. It's hard to tell. But it is more stratiform, spread out, right? Spread out. Where here we see the lumpiness of the cumulus clouds and on that picture there. All right, so let's pop back down where we're back to State Road 114, looking there. And then, of course, as you look at State Road 14 itself, and then, they got cameras all around there now. I'm going the wrong direction, aren't I? All right, so let's go back to the map. Let's go back down to Brookston. All right, State Road 18. I'm supposed to be on the other side pushing the button. All right, there's the clouds. Did we like that picture, right? Now, here's 43. It's at least looking at some of the clouds this time. We've got a little bit out there. I can see water in the ditches, so we can see that it rained overnight. And we can also see some more of that on State Road 25, looking back towards 43. I can see some of the cloud cover, a little bit of the low stuff in different places there. And as we move along, State Road, this is 26 here, and you can see low clouds here. And then the mid deck, but the low clouds are off towards the north already, moving away from us at this point. And then the mid clouds move in pretty easily. Now, what is State Road 38, which is Dayton, basically? Still can see some of the low clouds from the leftover showers last night. And then this mid deck or this very high low deck is in there for us to see pretty easily, all right? And then we go down to Frankfort, and in the Frankfort one, we look for water in the fields, and we see that. So they did get some. There's some in the ditches here. The roads look dry, and there's more cumulus on the horizon, right? Because it's pointed down towards Indianapolis, and that's where most of the rain is right now, is down in that general direction. So that's it for the cameras right now. Let's go back straight over the radar real quick. Let's see what we're looking at. And let's go in one more sector so we can see the close-in values, and you'll be able to see when it's going to be getting right on us. So there's some of the rain. That was just an hour or two ago. We got some rains overnight that were back towards midnight to 2 in the morning. And now we can see that Crawfordsville getting some pretty good rains right there on that front, okay? So I think there was a Crawfordsville camera in there, wasn't there? And then some of the rains back off towards the southwest that'll be in here in the next hour or two that'll be coming through. All right, let's check out that. There was a camera in Crawfordsville. Let's check it out. There it is. And sure enough, look at that. It's raining pretty good down there right now. Just kind of a gloomy day. Plenty of rain on the horizon. We can see the horizon pretty good, but we can't see much of the sky in their picture. But there you go. You can see where that rain is already hitting into Crawfordsville, which is right about there. Lafayette is right here in the open spot at the moment. And Crawfordsville is right there. So let's go to the models and see what we saw on the 6-hourly model, which is 48 hours out. And the big picture, I'm going to kind of swing through this pretty quick just to show you how the thunderstorms, there's the thunderstorms last night. Any chance went through. We didn't really hear much. The severe weather stayed away. Then it kind of dried up as it went through for a bit, but then we had this secondary low pressure system down here moving along the front, and it tries to drag some rain in, and it's already supposed to be pushing a little bit of light rain here and there. Now I'm interested because this is 6 hours ago already, 5 hours ago this did it, and it kind of puts us in the rain for a little bit, then takes us out, then boom, puts us back in the rain, and then this evening we're still in the rain and still shows us in the rain, right? This is all the way up to 10 o'clock tonight. Lafayette's right here and still in the rain. But during the day, it was not quite as bad, all right? And we just kind of run along the edge there. You go back just a couple pictures, And look at Rensselaer's not getting any rain, so the boundary is right along Lafayette, kind of right through there. Then it lets up for a little bit, and then luckily the system pushes far enough south, although there's a slight risk of some rain tomorrow during the day tomorrow. This looks to be 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, right? 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon shows some scattered, very light showers near us tomorrow afternoon. But generally speaking, we're quiet and probably a bit of clouds, I'm sure, as that system sags to the south during that time frame. Okay, so that's what it looks like on the big picture as you're looking at the system right here. Cold front, there's a low right about here, maybe another low pressure system here. And the good news right now is all of this is sagging to the south, right? Sagging to the south. All this is trying to sag to the south, but you're getting some push back to the north from the low, which is kind of scattered somewhere in this area, right? So you're getting a little push back to the north in spots, but and then you're getting a bigger push to the north, but then you're getting still the sagging pushing to the south, all right, all along this area here. But it's going to allow enough of the forward northerly flow to come through us as we go through the day today, all right? So I'm going to be interested, and we're going to zoom in a little closer to pinpoint the rain on the shorter models just to see where everything is at. So I'm going to go over here. Let's see if it'll allow me to do this on this. Nope, won't let me do this. Got to get out. All right, so I'm going to go over here and take the sector selector, come in close, right? Okay, so here's where the rain is. And for us, it kind of throws a little bit of light rain on us right here around 10 o'clock. And then it kind of misses us for a while. Then it tries to bring in some more rain around 1 o'clock. And it kind of brushes along us. And then by the afternoon, like 4 to 5, it brings in some more rain, and it's on top of us for a while. And we're caught in that spot, and it looks fairly heavy at times in there, right? Then it lightens up, and until midnight, it's still raining till 1, 2 in the morning. Then it's gone for a bit, and then it comes back in around tomorrow afternoon. There's a slight chance for a risk of a shower there. That would be about it. All right, so now let's go back, and let's go to the actual run that's running now. How far is the 12Z? It's only 43% out, but that should get us through this morning, right? So now we got a closer look. It's kind of got the rain on us or close to us by 15Z, all right? So we go back to 14Z. There's 10 o'clock. Here's 9 o'clock. It's pretty good. It shows the gap at 9 o'clock real well, right? Because the model's picking up data where rain is at the current moment. So it pushes through 9. 10, it's saying, hey, rain's right on the ping. Look out, guys. 11 o'clock, it's still the same thing. We're right on the edge. Maybe people south of town are getting rain, but us north of town are not. And it's just kind of on the edge there. And then it kind of leaves us, see? So there's where and then we're kind of on the battle. If you're in Crawfordsville, you're getting rain most of the day. But those of us in Lafayette, it's going to be in and out. And then sure enough, by 2 o'clock, the thrust of the moisture from the south gets here, joins in with what's near us, and it finally starts raining pretty good by 2 o'clock. And then 3 o'clock, it's raining good. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. All right, so here we are. Now it's 6 o'clock in the evening, and we're in some pretty good, decent rains throughout this period, right? 7, 8, it's still raining. Lafayette's right here if you haven't been able to follow. Lafayette's right there. Crawfordsville right here. Lots of rain. Rensselaer's now in some of the rain compared to the other models. So now we're closer in. We can see it. And then Lafayette does not lose its rain now until about midnight. We go back onto the edge, right? That's midnight. And then 1 in the morning, it's still there. We're kind of maybe. Tough call, right? But it looks like it's going to try to dry out after midnight. And then the model stops. It hasn't gone out far enough to catch up to see if we get anything from that scattered little shower tomorrow. So the big difference is it's a little more scattered here in the next 4 to 6 hours and then becomes more persistent by about 2 o'clock. All right, so that's where we're at this point. 2 to 3 o'clock becomes more persistent and the rain's on top of us. It's a little heavier too. Let's see how much rain actually accumulates during that time frame. Let's see, precipitation type, snow accumulation, don't need that. Need precipitation accumulation, average cloud cover. Let's go with total. There we go. Total shows only maybe 0.2 of an inch to 1/2 an inch down Crawfordsville. So most of the heavy rain is still south of us, but it shows a quarter of an inch for the folks up near Remington up there. So I would have to say this might be under a little bit. But we're still only talking a quarter to a half an inch for us if it gets on the heavy side, all right, through there. And a half an inch south of town, back towards Crawfordsville, looks like 6,500's down there, but it's raining already. You know, you go all the way down to Terre Haute, they're going to be closer to an inch. Indianapolis, an inch and a half, they're going to get it closer to that. An inch down towards Bloomington, down that direction. All right, so, and then a little bit of rain up towards Chicago, which was early in the prognosis. So that was pretty cool. All right, so let's look at the temperatures and see what we've got for today on the new model. This is on the new model. It will only go out, 18, 20 hours because it's only 50% done. But let's see how much we can get out of it. We see the mid-50s, right? We know it's 56, 57. Tries to get us up to like 61 for an hour or two here, which wouldn't surprise me, right? We've seen enough on the cameras to see that the rain isn't here yet. We see rain down to Crawfordsville. So that, and enough bright spots that we might be able to get a little bit of sun in here, but it's really not going to warm up much. 61 and here we are this afternoon. It's actually getting colder, right? Here we are by 19Z, which is, what is that? That's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right? And then here's 4 o'clock, and the temperature's actually dropping. And of course, that's because it's raining, right? We're getting rain in here over that period. And we're now down to almost 40s, into the 40s, but we're hovering around 51 late this afternoon. And we just don't get that much warmer. We don't have any sunshine. We have rain in here. It's just going to be a gloomy day once the rain starts, especially the rest of the afternoon. Unfortunately, I think baseball games today might have a struggle. Depends on the crew of the field and how much rain is actually falling at the time the game is going, because it looks pretty steady for this evening right now. And temperatures are going to be hovering in the upper 40s. Let's go back to, say, a game time. Say you got a 6 o'clock game time today. There it is. It's going to be 51 degrees, and it's going to be probably raining. A light rain may be coming down over you. And then by the time the game ends, it's just hovering, same thing, 50 degrees, somewhere in there, a little light wind. Say your game starts at 8 o'clock. Say you got a late game. It's 51, drops to 50, even maybe 49 by the time the game's done. So something to keep in mind. And then let's say you're getting up for work tomorrow morning after you missed the ball game tonight. And it drops down to, well, here we are at 8Z tomorrow, 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow morning. It's like 45, 46 degrees. There's a 43 in there, I see right there. So, and then we start to warm up tomorrow. I mean, this is promising. By 10 o'clock, it shows us at 52, but I see the winds coming out of the north, right? Winds are coming out of the north for us specifically, and they're a little more westerly out to our northwest, which at least helps not bring in the cold weather, right? So you can see the winds right here are out of the north. Here we got them going like this all the way along through here, through the central portion of this, because the front is way down here now somewhere, right? It's actually probably off the screen. And then we've got a northwesterly flow up here if you look at the winds. And if you follow the isobars, it's kind of that's your general trend, as a curve like this, right? And so that's where we are for tomorrow morning. Basically 50s, low 50s. It'll be cold in the morning. It warms up pretty quickly, but it just doesn't have a lot of warmth anywhere around us to get very warm tomorrow. So I'm imagining a temperature somewhere in the upper 50s to near 60 potential. And we'll see that. We'll get a couple more shots of that here in the next hour. In this hour here in another 20 minutes or so. All right, so let's do something we haven't done for a while. Is take a good look at the long range, and to do that, I gotta switch out of that and go to the bigger picture, because we would like to see that in the bigger picture. Let's go the GFS first, and we'll start with kind of where we are temperature wise. And you know, to be honest with you, let's look at where the precip is more than anything else, right? Let's see, not that one. We want the winter form. All right. So here we are with our system this morning, right? It's still, this is tonight, overnight, and then it kind of pushes off to the south. Now we're going to start to look for anything that sets up east to west. We're going to look for bigger systems. It does show this little minor system for the chance for some rain tomorrow, but it's later and it just kind of dissipates over and anywhere near us, right? So here it is at 18Z, and at 21, has it moved all the way over here, or is it just falling apart? I think it's pretty much falling apart. So, and, but is it the same exact system or not? Is it just some clouds? So these little minor things I don't worry too much about. I see the 540 line dropping down here. So I see a chilly morning on Thursday morning if we can get the clouds out of here. We've got a high, right? We've got a high that's just off the chart right now. You show that. That's way over here. All right, there's your high that's just off the chart. Okay, but we have ridging like this. And that means the high pressure is trying to nose itself right into there, just like that. And you can see the isobars doing that, right? There they are nosing themselves in there. Okay, so and their wind direction is going to follow along with that roughly, right? So we were in the northerly winds today. Well, actually tomorrow, right? Because we've been talking about today, and then what would happen tomorrow we will see the northerly winds, but those move over to Ohio tomorrow, and then we get into the westerly winds on Thursday, which allows us to warm up a little bit too. And the high brings in some of the better weather, at least for a little bit, and this ridge that moves along that specific spot during that time frame. All right, so let's move a little farther out and see what we can see. We see a cold morning Thursday morning. The 540 line drops south of Lafayette during that time frame. And then we watch and we see a few scattered light showers, some little disturbance to the north there on Thursday night into Friday, possibly. We watch that. But here's a good system popping up for Friday night into Saturday. So it looks like the first chance of rain with that is late afternoon into the evening. So we would start thinking about several different things here. Some severe weather potential on Thursday. This would be, Friday night, right? So Friday evening, we would think of potential for some severe weather with this and moving along, and the cold front draping down to the south. But for us, we're in the prime area. Doesn't look like a big system, but it does look like it could pop off a few scattered thunderstorms, and some of those could be in the variety of your severe weather with some warmer air here and colder up here to the north. Not your big time 80s and 90s down here and your 40s and 50s up to the north. No, more like probably 60s and 70s here. Maybe, close to 80, and then up here you're talking 50s and 60s kind of thing. Okay, so that rain goes through Friday night into Saturday, goes through pretty quick, right? And that front's coming in from what direction? Comes in from the northwest, and so it has less rain with it, right? And less potential for severe weather usually with it. And so then another system comes in from the north. Everything's coming in from the north. We're not seeing these lows coming up from the south yet. That means it's going to stay cooler too. And then we watch to see if something settles in from the south. We go into a big high again on into Monday. This is going into Monday. Bam, bam, bam. Nice high pressure. So we have maybe a little bit of rain on Friday into Saturday. Sunday looks better. Monday's looking really nice. Tuesday's looking good. Okay, I'm all the way into Tuesday morning now, and I see a low pressure system up here to the north. You notice not a lot of moisture out at the front of the system, but it tries to kind of brush along us Tuesday afternoon into the evening, and because of the timing, if the timing's still good, next Tuesday, a week away, and I'll be questioning this the whole route. We'll keep an eye on this system all the way out. We could get some rain with that system coming in. It's something on the backside when the actual cold front comes through. That'll be warm front at the beginning. Okay, so if we drew on this pretty easily, we would go like this. Here's our low, right? Easy to see there. Our warm front is out here. Or you could roll it right in there, and then your cold front's back here, right? Or even back like this, along this line where it becomes stationary in this area. So watch this area here, right? That's where your cold front's going to kind of come sweeping through, and then it's going to pick up a little bit of moisture, the warm front left over, right? And then see how we pick up some scattered showers along the cold front as it comes through overnight, next Tuesday night into Wednesday. And then it's just that kind of gloomy, scattered look again. All right. Now a high settles in over the top of us right here. Whoa. don't think I should have pushed that button. What do you guys think? I don't think so. Whatever I pushed, it started to move. All right, so a high settles in by next Wednesday, Thursday, and it's over Indiana, but there's scattered showers around it, and it's allowing stuff occasionally to get through. And finally by Friday, maybe there's a chance for some rain there, but I'm starting to see more now. We're starting to see maybe more of a southerly influence, and let's see how that does. Now, what is this telling us so far? What we're seeing now is we see all of our systems coming from the north or northwest, right? That's going to keep us cooler, generally speaking. We don't see any open periods where we can get a lot of southerly flow in here. This is over the next couple of weeks. So how are we going to get warm again? So it's going to be a time frame where we're cold. And then look at this. There's an east-west look right there. But I think this is going to die pretty quickly. Let's see what happens. No, it kind of settles in over the top of us, doesn't it? So here it is trying to go east-west right here. Let me draw on this real quick here. See if it'll let me do it. So here's your east-west movement, right? Well, it's west to east, but I just call it west to east, east to west when I talk about it. And I look for those for steady rains to set up in a period where it'll drop to the south, kind of go stationary, and then we start to see stuff coming in from the Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas area. That's where we'll start to see some of that. So here's what it looks like then. It goes out a little farther. You go out just a little time frame. Now we're into Sunday morning. This is way next Sunday morning, May 17th, so almost 2 weeks away. And we are directly west to east over us where the frontal boundary is. So you have a stationary frontal boundary here, a cold front there, and then you maybe are starting to see a warm front from systems that are coming that are just off the chart here from the west, right from the west. Maybe orientating, starting to get that flow back up. And then we start to see more of a flow coming up through here with the stationary still kind of in there out through Monday right now. This is early Monday morning, right? And then it tries to bring in the rain. And then, boom, we start to see our first decent system from the south. But it's way out on May 18th, and it's really not that good, although it brings a lot of rain into us, steady rains over that period. And then finally it kind of clears out for a day or two. We get a high in here from the north, but that'll be a little cooler during that period. But right now, there's just not a lot of warmth on the charts. Let's go back and look at the temperatures, right? Let's go all the way back here. See if I can, wrong two buttons. There we go. Way back to Wednesday. All right, well, let's go to today. Let's see what it's saying. We're on, what is it, Tuesday now? Tuesday morning right there. There's 8 o'clock Tuesday morning. All right, let me now switch it over to the temperature. There we go. And let's move it along. We see our line of temperatures right now. It's kind of like this, right? You got your 50s and 60s down here, but you got a line right where the frontal boundary is going through right here. And then you got all this cooler air back up here wanting to go that direction, right? Wanting to go here and fill in all this other stuff. So let's see how the day goes on today. Now remember, we're going 3-hour jumps here when I do this. So you see the rain and the cooler air right through that slot, right there, right through the green slot. You notice it's in the 50s, 54 up here, but here it's in the 40s, right? All the 40s. That's where all the rain's going to be this afternoon and this evening. And we are under that. We are right where that 48 is. That's Lafayette actually showing the temperature at 48 this afternoon, possibly. All right, so the GFS goes out. The rain goes by, right? We kind of crater out tomorrow morning. Here we are Wednesday morning in the low 40s. So it shows 43. I'm going to go pretty close to that because I think we're going to have a lot of cloud cover. 42, 43 tomorrow morning. So that's going to be chilly, but we're still kind of, getting rid of the rain out of here. It's going to be kind of gloomy. Then tomorrow pops up, and I don't think we're going to see a lot of cloud cover tomorrow. This is 55 degrees in the afternoon tomorrow for the high is what it's showing. Let me see if I got any cloud cover. I don't have cloud cover on this one going out that far. It doesn't do that. But I'll bet there's still some clouds hanging over us. Now, if we get into a pocket tomorrow, right in this area right here, right, as you can see, I can guarantee you there are clouds up here, right through here where it's showing the 40s. This makes me think that there's cloud cover kind of like that. All right, so think north of this, then there's a wedge in here, right, like this, cloud cover back down here too, and we're in the area of no clouds right here, right? Lafayette's right there, ding, ding, and then the clouds are going to be over in this area here, and still a swath down here tomorrow morning, all right, and during the day tomorrow. And that will allow us to get just a little bit warmer. But you notice you could go all the way down to Tennessee now, and there's not much warmth. It's even tomorrow in Tennessee, Kentucky, they're in the 50s tomorrow, all right, because they've got some rain. The rain that come through our area today will be down there tomorrow. And then we drop off temperature for Thursday morning, and look at that. We might be back into the 30s. As a possibility on Thursday morning right there. Shows us right at 40. And if we don't have the cloud cover, I'll go for 38. But with the clouds, 40 sounds pretty good. Not bad. And you can, same thing, it's the same. You can draw the line where the cold air is, right? It's right there. We're seeing all the influence. And the areas where there may be clouds overnight, like this, stay a little bit warmer. Because look at this. You got a pocket of upper 30s all the way down near St. Louis, even towards the Ozarks, right? So there is a pocket there, which makes me think there's some cloud cover coming off the lake or around the lake in this area, and then there's a hole in this somewhere, right? That's what it's kind of showing us, at least at that time frame. The potential for that. That's for Thursday morning. So Thursday morning, and we're going to warm up on Thursday, right, a little bit. So here we're finally back. It's showing 60, and I would go for 65 on this. I will go warmer on this, a good 5 degrees. We're starting to see the influence from the west. We see some 70s even farther north than us, out in towards northern Iowa, northern Nebraska. And we're seeing the cloud cover retreating finally and getting away from us. And our systems have now set themselves up to the south down here, not where we are, all right? So then we move a little farther. That's Thursday afternoon. Here we are Friday morning. We're in the, mid-40s. That's about where we should be. We should be around 46, 47 for a low. And so Friday morning looks very consistent with where we should be. Shows 45, so there you go, pretty close. And then we warm up in the afternoon too. It shows 62. And I would bump this probably, depending on cloud cover. If there's some clouds, I'll bump this to 64. Without clouds, maybe 66, right in there to 67, 7. I might even go 68 on Friday. It's a little bit out there, but we have to see that. Now, by that time frame, we are talking the 8th of May. We should be pretty close to 70 degrees for our highs. So that's still a little below normal, right? We're still below normal with our temperatures through Friday. Then Saturday morning comes in. We're back somewhere around 47 or so. That's about normal, right? And then on Saturday, we start to warm up again. Here we go. It's showing some 70s on Saturday. 71. We can see the pocket of warmth all the way up to here by this time frame, right? Oh, and look at this. Even some 80s and 90s out towards our southwest that we don't tap into right away. But we see a warmer flow trying to get into us, right? But it's not as, but we still see the northerly flow right here. You can see the wind barbs pointing right towards us. So you got the southerly flow here, the wind barbs here, kind of in between. We're getting some 70s there. We're probably mixing in some rain there. Remember, we talked about that during this time frame. There you go. Then the temperatures cool off again. Here we are back into the mid to upper 40s for our lows on Sunday morning. And then Sunday afternoon only gets back up to 63 because of the rain pushing through. And then we go really chilly on next Monday. We're probably in the right around the 40 to 45 mark. So cold there. Good news is I don't see frost on here yet. Okay, well, we'll got to keep an eye on it. We're getting close to the end of the chances for frost. And I know that has to do a lot with you guys' plants out there and what you're working on in the fields. The guys are already planted. I see some of the corn coming up in places already for the guys who planted early and thought they could get, no frost. So that's good. And then it looks like back to this, here we are next Monday. We're going to be low to maybe even mid 60s, but I see a lot of of disturbance in this area, right? You got a low over here. And so you're seeing, well, actually, this is the high that we were talking about earlier, now that I think about it. So we're seeing this northerly flow come around it. And here's the low back over here, settled in there. So this is where that ridge was starting to nose itself in there. And we go through the next couple days and we see some of that. That's going to allow some cold temperatures in here at night when there's no clouds. But good news is, again, nothing in the 30s. Not seeing anything in the 30s where it could change and overnight be 32 or something. We got frost on the ground. Here's next Tuesday, high temperatures pushing up very close to us near 70 degrees right here, right there. That's, Champaign, Decatur, looks like all the way down to St. Louis, maybe even close to 80 degrees there, 79. With us, it says 62. Well, I'm going to try to warm that bad boy up to 65 with this flow coming up from the south that day. That's next Tuesday. All right, there is at least an average day, close to average anyway. I think you're going to see more. You're going to see better than 62, but we'll see how that goes with that front that comes down, washes through, brings in some cooler air, and look at just by Wednesday next week, we're still right back to a high of only 55 or 60 tops. Look at that, 60, and the winds are coming straight out of the north again, right? Pretty much. And you got all, and you don't have any warmth until you get way down to Oklahoma. And it's still kind of packed in down there to the south. Tennessee's in the 70s for some of the friends that I have there that I know of. All right. Oh, shouldn't have done that. Don't push that button, Brian. Then I lost everything there. Oh, this is what I got to do. All right, I got to get out of here. Sorry, guys. Sometimes you push the buttons too fast and you lose it. And all I was trying to do was see the chat. Bill's in here. Bill says we'll have showers and thunderstorms for early afternoon down there, then backing off till about 8 to 9 p.m. Another round of showers and thunderstorms. He has a ball game tonight to umpire, maybe, and it's a playoff game. So good morning, Bill. Good to see you. And obviously Bill told me all that because Bill is a meteorologist also. And we were called weather forecasters in the military, but they're called meteorologists out here basically. And that's kind of what we've done for 45 years between the two of us. I'm closing in on, it's not maybe playoffs, it's the beginning of the state playoffs. It is. I meant maybe for the game, right? Maybe for the game that he just pumped in there. So we'll have to see that. Yeah, that's pretty funny. And so where was I? What was I talking about? Well, it was Bill and I. I think I was talking about Bill and I. Between the two of us, let's see, I started in weather officially in 1983 when I went into the Marine Corps, and he was in a little earlier than that. He's a few years older than me, not too much older. And while we throw the old jokes back and forth at each other, he's doing pretty good nowadays too, so he's hanging in there. We've got a lot of stuff going on. We've got a lot of experience between the two of us. So let's see. I'm working on 43 years, and he's working on about 46, 47 maybe years. No, I think he did something before that. Maybe, Bill, you're going to have to remind me how long you've been in actual weather. It's well over 40 years, but I don't know if he was. I think he went in first as a MP. Do I remember that right, Bill? I'm not sure if he went in as an MP first or he was doing something else, then went into weather. I don't remember. So many different stories from so many different people. Sometimes you forget. But between Bill and I, we're closing in on 90 years of experience forecasting weather all over the globe, the both of us. We've done deserts, we've done Antarctica and cold, we've done the Midwest, we've done the Far East, we've done Europe, we've done it all. Africa. So we've got a good strain of it, stuff between the two of us. If you see us say something, generally speaking, we kind of know what we're talking about. And so that's what we're seeing there on that front. Looks like Ray's got in here. Good morning, Ray. Good to see you this morning. Yeah, Bill did do security police. Then he cross-trained in 1984. So there you go. So we're both in the weather field since 1984, roughly. So there you go. That's a lot of experience. That's what, 82? That's 85 years almost. I'd call it 85 years between the two of us for experience forecasting weather. So there you go. Good morning, Ray. Good to see you in here this morning, Ray. Hopefully you'll be ready for some of the rain coming later this afternoon. Plus, Ray lives south of town, so he's got a better chance of running into the rain that's near Crawfordsville right now. All right, let's get back into some of this system here, moving along. And what we're talking about at the end of next week now is I'm already to that point, right? End of next week shows highs now still mid 60s, maybe upper 60s, but by the end, middle of May 14th, we should be like 72, 73 for our highs, and it's still only showing 60s there for us. And then we're in the 50s overnight. That's not too bad. And then next Friday, there's a day where the 70s are close to us. We'll be getting closer to normal. And then Saturday next week, there's a high that's in the 70s. So let's go, I'm going to bump to 72. I got the 80s right here, not far away, down into Missouri. We're talking 86, and we're going to be at 70. Not with that flow like that, we're not. We're going to get there, I would think. So that's 18Z. Let's see what. And at 21Z, it says 68, so that means I think we're going to rain during that time frame. That'll be late in the day. And look at this, pockets of 103. I just noticed that out in Nebraska and Kansas by the end of the middle of the month, May 16th. And does any of that warmth get towards us? Obviously, it's going to change itself by the time it gets here, and it will be different by that time frame. But it does look like there's a big pocket of warmth out there, and it moderates itself. It changes during that time frame, and the next day it's the hundreds are gone and they're back into the 80s. But for us, we're only talking like 60s, upper 60s that day on next Sunday. And then the following Monday, this is Monday, May 18th, and it's still far below normal. It says 70, but by the 18th of May, we should be about 73. 73 degrees by the 18th of May. You should be 76 by the 20th of May. So we're going to be like 74, 75 for an average high generally by the middle of May and the end of May. And we're still only going to be in the 50s and 60s a lot of days, with some in and out days in the 70s. All right, so right now that looks like about, what are we talking here? We're talking all the way out to Wednesday, May 20th. And on Wednesday, May 20th, we see a high somewhere around 65. And on the 20th of May, I've got 52 for low and 76 for the average high. So we're still going to be 10 degrees below normal. All right, so you're going to feel the warmth, the 60s, and you're going to think that's not too bad, upper 60s, but you're actually still going to be below normal 2 weeks from now. All right, during that time frame. That's what we're looking at on that front, and where we've gone through that totals. I did want to look at one other thing. I think I can get on this one. Precipitation, total precipitation throughout this entire time frame. So here we are the first couple days, and it shows Lafayette at 3/4 of an inch. So, and south of town, we're talking 1 probably. See that, 8/10. You get down near Indianapolis, 8/10. So the model's not nearly as negative as the HER is. And then we move along and see how much we get rainfall. It stays 3/4, and then we go way out to Friday. Friday, it brings in some more rain. We get about another 1/4 of an inch there. All right. Then it goes out again. When does it rain again? Now we're talking Sunday. Maybe not even a 1/4 inch. We're at 1.15 during the whole period. Look at this. It's just kind of missing us rain-wise. We're not getting a lot of rain. We are definitely still in drought. Even though some of the fields are carrying water in places, the entire area here throughout northern Indiana, a lot of Illinois itself is actually far below normal on their precipitation in the last year. So, and look at that. It just kind of sticks on 1.19 until when? There we go. There's a whole 1/100th of an inch on Saturday, next Saturday. Wow. So there's not a lot. There we go. Finally, there's a system on Sunday, May 17th. That was the one we were talking about. And it shows some heavy rains close to us and gives us about an inch right there when that goes by. And then that goes up to close to 2 inches during that system. Just in that one pocket. And this is a good spot because we need the rain. Then we get up to another couple inches on the system that comes through on the Monday, Tuesday into May 17th, 18th, 19th, right, in that time frame. So there is some rain on the horizon. And again, very spotty up until that time frame. So that's actually going to be good for planting, though. the guys will be able to get out into the fields pretty well most of the period, and they'll be okay during that time frame. They'll be able to do that, and then they'll be able to till anything that they need to till, get everything ready, plant everything pretty much, and then there'll be some more rain middle of May right now. So they've got a week or two to get out there after today, once their field's dry, to be able to plant everything. And we have a lot of guys planting around here, that's for sure. So you'll see some of that. Let's see what the new run is running on the Her. All right, here's the Her. It's now out to 100%. So let's put some rain on it. There we go. And let's get in closer. We kind of saw, we know the system's still coming in towards us, right? We know that we have the advancing system for tonight. So that nothing's changed on this front right here. Here's this afternoon. There we go. We're kind of just on the edge. Then we get into it really good by about 2 o'clock. And then it stays steady rain. When does it stop the rain tonight? Lafayette is right here. Hopefully you can see that right there. At that point, it's just showing me references of the thickness of the atmosphere and what we're seeing on millibars there also. All right, so there we press through. We're still now 10 o'clock, 11. I think it's clearing maybe a half hour to an hour earlier. Look at this, by midnight. See, it's right on the edge, midnight. That was what, 1 o'clock on the last run? Midnight, 1 o'clock. It's close. It's a, midnight tonight, the rain's going to stop. Maybe. There it goes. Hangs on till 1. You got to give me that one little shot of green, doesn't it? 2, 3. There we go. So then it's got just that little northerly nub in it. And then south of town by 3 in the morning, it should be cleared out. And it's gone. And then let's see what it does for the afternoon tomorrow. Does it bring in that little wave of showers? Yes, it does. And look at this, right on us tomorrow. 16Z is noon. And then 1 o'clock, there's a chance for some showers. Look at that. It makes a beeline right to Lafayette. Now, there's not a lot there, right, during that time frame. 18, 19Z. And then if you throw on the how much precipitation was that in the last 6 hours, it's traced to 200. So it's an annoyance rain more than anything else, but it is there. Something to keep in mind for tomorrow to kind of ruin the middle of the day tomorrow. Boom, boom, kind of goes over us. Most of it is north of town right there. Look at that. You drew a line south of town and you're going towards Crawfordsville, not much. Draw a line through town going north, you're going to see more until you get north of Monticello and up near Rensselaer, north of Brookston. Brookston's right about in here, so they're in the middle of it. My house is in the middle of it tomorrow for that 200th of an inch that comes through during the day tomorrow. And then that goes on through pretty quickly, and we're good the rest of the period. And has it updated temperatures? Let's take a look at it and see if it's close to what we're thinking. For this afternoon, shows that 61 in there. Drops us during the afternoon, right? Here we are dropping with the rain coming in and hovers around 50 degrees for a while. And then we're finally down. It shows 49, but it was sitting at 50 for a while. Midnight, finally 49 degrees, 48. Then tomorrow morning, as we get into the morning hours, here's 4 o'clock. You can see the cold moving down towards us in the early morning hours tomorrow morning. 44 by 6 o'clock. By 7 o'clock, it's 43, and by 8 o'clock, it starts to warm back up. So 43, 42 tomorrow morning. I think that's consistent with what it was showing before. We still see a northerly flow up north of us and south of us and east of us right now. It shows a northerly flow. It's a little more calmer in this pocket to our southeast and to our south. That's actually to the southwest. Southeast is still to the northerly flow. Then what is a rebound for tomorrow's temperature? There's the rain. You can see the rain. See how the rain bothered us in the afternoon tomorrow, and it drops our temperature. And then after the rain goes through, it tries to warm us up, but we only get to like 56. And do we get that nose of clouds, coming through or not? And right now it shows that we're going to stay in the cloud cover and we're going to be chilly, but then that helps us overnight where we get into Thursday morning. Here it is going out Thursday morning. There you go, a 35. Boom. 35. In Lafayette, 35. So that means farmers around here, 34. So a bit, you notice the other model only showed like 38. So when you're getting dramatic changes in different spots with temperatures, you're going to see that. But right now it says 35 for Thursday morning. That is 7 o'clock Thursday morning. So if we're wide open skies on Thursday morning, expect maybe 33 to 35, all right? But it looks like it's definitely going to be chilly. They'll give us a heads up as it gets closer, tomorrow especially, right? Tomorrow being Wednesday. We'll have a good feel for whether it's actually going to be freezing on Thursday morning here in Lafayette or close to it around us. So, all right, guys. Wow. We went a whole hour again. We're just sitting here talking, not having to, doing whatever. Let's see what it's like. There's Crawfordsville. It's raining down there. Let's see if it's starting to rain at Fowler yet. No rain, but the Fowler car cam says 0. I think there's maybe something off on the horizon, but we're only counting from about here up to the camera. 0 cars again today, but we do get to see the sky pretty well on this picture. That's why we like it. All right. It should be raining down near Covington by now. Nope, still hasn't yet. And we'll go back to satellite picture here in a second, too. And that means nobody else is really raining yet, except for Crawfordsville. Let's see if it's gotten itself over towards Frankfort yet, the rainfall. It has. You can see rain on the pane. You can see pictures there of it, but you can see the sky in spots. And there's more rain in the ditches along here. The fields are still picking up a little bit of rain. So we know the fields down near Frankfort got more rain than everybody else, right? Let's move back up the highway. Here we are to Dayton, and you can see the darkness over here, right? Because it's looking back towards Frankfort and to the south, this camera is. And you can see where the rain is down there, all right? So that's for down there. Right now, it says 55 degrees outside. Bring your umbrella because it's going to start raining pretty soon. That's true. We're going to see that. It's going to be moving in and out over the next few hours. But what does the radar look like? Oh, here's a radar shot. There we go. Now we've got it pretty good for us. We see it's still south of town. Town's right here, right? So it's still south of town, and it is going to be another hour or two before this batch gets to us because this one looks like it wants to miss us and just stay where it is. So it is going to be a little bit before we get into it, and then the area behind it develops even more and fills in the hole to our southwest there a little bit as the day goes on. And if you're north of Rensselaer up near Chicago, you're getting rain too. Look at where the dry spot is. The bubble, the Lafayette bubble right over us. But that bubble's going to give way, and we are going to see some of this rain as we get into the afternoon hours today. All right? What kind of questions, if you have any out there? I'd love to hear something you have to say. They're starting to update temperatures here and still looking at mid-50s. Look at these temperatures. So Saturday might be a chance for a temperature above normal, right? Saturday is what? The 9th? Should be like 70, 71 by Saturday, right? Okay, so there's a temperature that's above normal. We see some morning temperatures that are above normal, but then look at 65, 63 is below normal there. You go out another week, 70 on Wednesday, Thursday next week, but it should be like 72. So we'll see if next Wednesday or Thursday. So one day on Saturday, maybe one or two of the days on Wednesday, Thursday next week has a chance to get up there. All right, so just not a lot. And if you go out and look at the chart on the bottom that I really like, right? Here it is. It shows that big couple days of warmth. Now we're back into cold. Shows one day warming above on May 9th, right? Then it shows some days where we're below, but we're not that far away. And then we get some warmth finally on May 19th, way out there, 14 days away. And then it turns pretty warm for a few days, right? And then a little chillier as we get towards the end of the month and push towards June again. So a cold early portion of the month of May, and then very warm at the big end of the month, it looks like. And then the same thing for the lows. Most of the lows are above normal with just a few days that are cold. That makes me think cloud cover more than anything else during that entire time frame. All right, so all right, we're going to call it a day. It's 9:58 in the morning, heading towards 10 o'clock. Hope you have a great day. Current temperature is 55 degrees under cloudy skies. Winds are out of the west northwest at 8 miles an hour. Visibility is unrestricted, but rain is on the pane. It's not too far away. And you know what that means? That means I am out of here. See you tomorrow.